I'm going to yield my 5 minutes to Chairman of Friends for City Schools, Sam Allen.
Sam Allen.
I promised myself 3 years ago when I left this place that one thing I would never do, and that would come and attend another board meeting. And I promised myself that, and I held myself to it until today. But I think I come to you with a good reason and for a good cause. First of all, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent, to all of my board members, you know, I'm in a unique situation. For 32 years, I worked for the 9 of you. But for this time, you work for me. And I got to tell you, that's a good feeling for you to finally work for me. When I first heard about the consolidation, first let me go back. The QE group is calling this unification all of a sudden. And I think that's just a play on words and play on our intelligence. Because for 30 years, we've always called this process consolidation. Now all of a sudden, we're calling it unification. We're calling it unification because the only thing that we want to change is the central office. We want all the schools to remain the same. The only thing we want to change is what goes on right here at 1204 William Street. Where if you're going to unify a community, then something else has to change. This group has failed to put together a plan that I can follow. You know, I may have come to you on the other side if I had known what the plan was. Tell me what's going to happen to my kids. Tell me what's going to happen to my staff. Tell me what's going to happen to my school system if I vote in favor of this. And no one can tell me this. They are telling me to vote yes and trust me. We're here to help. And I'm just not willing to do that for our children. Of course, all of my children have graduated. But what about the other children? What about the other parents that can't come up and speak for their children? We have a responsibility as citizens, and you have a responsibility as our leaders, to make sure that those children and those staff are taken care of. If there is a better plan, then tell me. If this Board of Education this evening would say, Mr. Allen, we think that there is a better way to do it, and we certainly can't do it. We think the people across town can do it a whole lot better. Then I would walk out, put my sign in my truck, and go to 306 Jennifer Circle, and you would never hear from me again. But from what you've just said, you have not told me that. You've told me that the plans that you have in place are good plans, that you're moving forward, you have good leadership in place, and that this school system is getting better and better and better, and it's not something that you want to just throw to the wayside just to experiment on. So I applaud you, and I thank you for your leadership. But now it's time. We may have waited a little bit too long to voice our disagreement on this issue. But we must get the message out to our constituents that we must vote no. That's the only answer to that question, is to vote no. If you ask someone on the other side why, they can't tell you. Because they don't know. No one can promise what will happen on November the 9th except the men that are sitting on the Lowndes County Board of Education, because you will be suddenly unemployed. Everyone here that's a certified or a certificated person will suddenly find themselves for a short period of time unemployed. Who's asked the question, what's going to happen to those people? And they will tell you, well, everything will be all right for right now, and we'll have a transition period of time. Well, where is that written? On the question that you are being asked to vote on, there is not a date when this takes place. So the law says it takes place immediately. So in the middle of the year, in November, coming up to Thanksgiving, when you normally get your early Thanksgiving check, there may not be any money in the bank, because Valdosta City School doesn't exist anymore. How can Mr. Rush write a check on the Valdosta Board of Education checkbook when the Valdosta Board of Education no longer exists? Nobody has asked those questions, or no one has given me the answers to those questions. Now, of course, somebody has to ask those questions. And I've asked the keyword, where is your plan? And you know, I finally realized what the plan is. The plan is to make you come up with the plan. Because you as elected officials, you cannot wait until November the 8th to tell us what's going to happen to our students and what's going to happen to our staff. So they're forcing you to do their plan. I had the unfortunate opportunity to attend one of their education summits. The worst 3 hours of my life, because I sat there and I listened to them put together a plan that you already have in place. Mission statements, objectives. You already have this. You have one of the highest ratings of any SACS accredited school in the state of Georgia. You already have this. So tell me, why do we need them to do it? There is something that we don't know about.
Yep.
There is something that someone is not telling the common, everyday public about why this process is so important. This process came out of Impact 2012. And they fooled me. I've got to admit, I was part of it. I admit it. Because they told me that we're finally going to get an official study done that will prove once and for all whether having a dual school system has a negative impact on economic development. They hired the Chamber of Commerce, they hired the Carl Vinson Institute. They sent the Carl Vinson Institute back twice because it didn't tell them what they wanted to hear. And when it came back the third time, is my understanding, it still didn't tell them what they wanted to hear. So they surveyed their own members. And they gave them about 13 questions with 2 questions on each, 2 answers. And of course you want a good school system. So as a result of that, they determined that it was a good thing to consolidate or to unify our 2 school systems. My question to you, and the people that are here this evening, it's their questions also. If we have a good school system, then why can't we have 2 good school systems? Why do we have to settle? We've always been considered ourselves as Wintersville. Why can't Wintersville have 2 great school systems? Why can't we continue to improve on what we have? Now, there is not a school system in the world that is perfect. If we consolidate today, we're still going to have problems. You're still going to have parental involvement problems. You're still going to have truancy problems. They're not going to go away. But what you're going to wake up with is that Lowndes County is going to wake up in the morning with 7,000 additional teachers, students, and about 500 or 600 additional personnel that they don't know what to do with. Who's going to buy those extra textbooks? The last time we did a textbook adoption when I was working, language arts textbook adoption was over $1 million. Are we going to use the same curriculum? Are we going to have 2 curriculums? What's going to happen to Valdosta High School? I understand now that Southeast Elementary School is on hold. Well, now we've prolonged that project for almost 6 to 8 months because no one in their good mind is going to buy a bond from a school system that may not exist in the next 3 months. What are our teachers and our staff going to be thinking about for the next 3 months while they're preparing for this election? They may be going through the motions, but the main thing on their mind is how are we going to pay our mortgage in November if this passes? And they say, well, we'll save on central office because we got duplication. The only duplication you have is right there sitting in that seat right there. But I can tell you, even without him, how many additional assistant superintendents are you going to have to hire? So are you really saving any money? The students are going to still be there. They're going to still need the services. We have to make sure right now when we leave here that we're all on the same page. And there is no other answer other than telling the citizens of Valdosta, we don't want it. We're voting no. That's the only thing. Because nothing that we've heard can change our mind. We are Valdosta City Schools friends today, tomorrow, and forever. and we're going to continue to fight. But what we need now to follow your lead. We realize that there are some things that you as an elected board, you can't do. You can't speak and you can't say. We'll be your mouthpiece. But we need to know that you are standing behind us. And by you taking the vote tonight, we can go out in the community and we can sell that to the community, because now we have finally heard from our Board of Education, and that now and now this is just not a Sam Allen show. You know, for a while people thought, well, you know, Sam is the only one that's talking about this. You know, he must be crazy. Why is he the only one that's saying something? Is he trying to save his wife's job? She's got 33 years. She can go home anytime she wants to. It's about right. Doing things right and in order. And now we've heard from our leadership, and we're willing to go out and we're willing to fight. But we've got to get people to the polls. Now it's time. Now we have sat back and we said that they would never get the signatures. They got them. We said that they would never get them verified. They're verified. They said that they'll never get on the ballot. It's going to be on the ballot. Now we're about to waste our last opportunity, and that is to defeat it at the polls. And that's where we need each and every one of you in your individual communities to go out and tell your constituents that I am a Board of Education member and I am totally against consolidation, unification, or whatever you want to call it, because I believe in my students, I believe in my staff, I believe in my superintendent, and I believe in my school system. I leave you with this thought. We will never, never, never give up on this school system. Thank you.